You're about to enter a room. The only way to unlock it is with the key hidden in spite of your wife. But once in the room, it's filled with the sound of children, your children. A sound like a broken record, forever sounding, never ending, never stopping. The room so devoid of edges it has no points. It's rounded like the sleek curvature of a rocket, red in color. A place so devious and devoid of humanity, all who enters in it turns their back to the outside world at the whim of a witch. This is Casino's Corner.
God damn it.
We're in Casino's Corner. Hit us with it.
All right. Well, that gasp for me was the NHL. We're moving over there because the season has started. We have one of my favorite players for the Golden Knights just signed a 7-year extension for $51.9 million with the defensive Shea Theodore. Outstanding. I'm really happy about that. Fucking cool. So before we get into the NHL, let's get into a couple other fun things that we have to go with. So recently fired Jets head coach Robert Saleh. I don't know if you heard about this. He ended up at the Green Bay Packers practice on Wednesday, and he was just helping out the team's offense by providing a defensive perspective. And Matt LaFleur was asked about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, he's just a friend. He's just coming out. He's a friend of the organization." You don't just go, especially a defensive coach, going in there and giving perspective on the other team's offense. Like, you don't do that. This has Robert Saleh going to Green Bay, probably not this year, but going to Green Bay next year and being a coach of some sort for the Green Bay Packers. I think they wanted to make it very public and very, hey, looky, Robert Saleh is not a bad guy. Aaron Rodgers this is like a big fuck you to Aaron Rodgers in my sense. And I love every second of it, to be honest, because I don't think Robert Saleh, is he a great head coach? No. Is he a great defensive coach? Yeah, I think so. And I do think a lot of these losses, especially the London loss, was on Rodgers, not on Robert Saleh. So I think Robert Saleh going over there and publicly being like, "Hey, I'm on the sideline at the Green Bay Packers. I'm helping the offense by giving a defensive perspective." Like, that's a big fuck you, and I love every second of it. So that happened. We did conclude. Moving on, we did conclude the WNBA finals. I'm sure that nobody knew that and nobody cared. But I will say, and I was trying to allude to it the other day about all of the different bullshit refereeing that we've had. There was some really, really bad refereeing to where how the NBA, and I have complaints with the NBA where, like, anything could be a foul. Well, they made that really, really apparent, and they really wanted New York to win this. Like, it is a bad look. Like, if you watch, I know you won't, but if you watch those highlights of the game and you watch the fouls that were being called in favor for New York when the Lynx were dominating for the most of that series, I was wrong. The Lynx looked really good and really aggressive, but the games that the Liberty won were due to a lot of questionable officiating, especially in Game 5. So, yeah, not great look. And the Lynx head coach, she's calling them out for it. She's not hiding behind any of it, and everybody's agreeing with her. So it's not like it's a bad take or a bad look because everybody agrees. Like, everybody agrees. So that's pretty insane. Also, the WNBA, they did do their holdout, and they're waiting. They had a oh my gosh, their collective bargaining agreement and all of that stuff, where they had it for 2 more years, and they decided to opt out of it because everybody was focused on the WNBA this year. Caitlin Clark coming into the league, we talked about it, a while back with Caitlin Clark coming in and that transition from college to WNBA, that it was going to put a spotlight on it, and it did. Like, revenue and everything went up, viewership went up, TV deals went up, but it's not enough for the players, and they are making that known, especially with how much WNBA has grown just in this single year. So they're on a holdout. We'll see how that plays out. going into the next season. So that's your double WNBA. Then we are moving over. Let's get into just some NHL. I know that I had a whole pulled up here. Go to my phone as I save some stuff. Boom. We'll talk about just real quick about the divisions and who's expected to win the cup and where everybody's kind of standing right now. So a lot of people and my picks are pretty much the exact same of what they all of you'll see here. There's a whole list of professionals that are doing their picks for every division, and I agree. So what you have with the Atlantic Division coming out of there, this is the one where I differ. The total is where the Panthers are expected to win that division, right behind the Maple Leafs. I think the Panthers are going to have a fall off season, even though not crazy, but even though they had um, just won the Stanley Cup. I think the Maple Leafs will win the regular season. However, Maple Leafs will do what they do best. They will lose in the postseason, as always. And then in the Metro Division, you have the Rangers, and that's pretty much of a landslide. Rangers are expected to win and outlast the Devils. For that division, we have the Central Division. This is where it gets pretty heavy, like over into the Western Conference. The Stars are expected to annihilate everybody. The closest team that was supposed to beat them was going to be the Avalanche, but the Avalanche have not started this season well. And then my wife just got home. And then over in the Pacific, it is pretty much a slap in the face to everybody. Only two teams, the Kings got one vote and the Knights got one vote. 21 other votes went to the Oilers. The Oilers are expected to dominate that as well. So with my predictions, I do think, though, even though the Oilers look good and they're supposed to dominate the Pacific, I think it's going to be setting up for a Rangers Stars NHL Cup Finals. I think the Stars finally get there, but I do not see them winning. I think the Rangers are just too good. They loaded up this year. I think the Rangers will win the Stanley Cup this year, and good on them. Good on them. So that's what Casino's Corner.
That we are closing up Casino's Corner. Great Casino's Corner right there. Maybe the best one ever.